Good afternoon, children. Today we are going to learn lesson 3 in history, the Delhi Sultans. Okay. As you know, in the last class I had introduced this lesson to you and had also explained about the rulers of the 7th to 12th century, and hereafter how did the Delhi Sultans came into our country and established their rule in Delhi and the nearby regions. And I also explained why Delhi became the capital of their rule, okay, or their ruling reigns. Why? Because Delhi was the most commercial center where the different traders, the merchants, the landlords, etc. wanted to explore Delhi, and most of the commercial activities, trade, etc. would take place here, right? So thus Delhi became the capital of the country during that time, or their rule during that time. And today we are going to learn the different topics based on this chapter, that is findings about the Delhi Sultan. That means how and where did the archaeological sources come into existence and the historians find about the emergence of the Delhi Sultans in our country. Then we are going to learn the circle of justice. How did the sultans maintain the social order during their rule? Then we are going to learn the two ideal of social order. What were they? The birthright as well as the gender distinction. Okay. So these four topics I am going to explain today in our class. Okay. Now let us move to the textbook, children. I am on page number 31. Lesson is the Delhi Sultans, third lesson in your history. In the last class, I had explained about the different rulers of Delhi, and they belong to the Rajput dynasties, the Turkish rulers, the Khalji dynasty, the Tughlaq rulers, the Sayyid dynasty and the Lodi dynasty, right? These all were the different rulers who belonged to, from here, they belong to the Sultanate dynasties, okay? And as I said, the Rajput rulers ruled in the 11th and 12th centuries, right? Till 1192. Prithviraj Chauhan was their last ruler. Then we learned about Qutbuddin Aibak, Shamshuddin Iltutmish, and then we learned about the Razia Sultan, Ghiyazuddin Balban. These were the rulers who ruled, the Turkish rulers who ruled Delhi. Then we also learned about the Khalji dynasty, Jalaluddin Khalji and Alauddin Khalji. These were the most powerful rulers of during that period. Then Ghiyazuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq, who ruled during the 13th and 14th centuries. Then came the Sayyid dynasty and the Lodi dynasty, right? Until 1526. These were the rulers right from the 12th century to the 15th century. These were the rulers who ruled Delhi, right? But now let us learn how did the archaeological findings, or how did the historians and archaeological facts teach us about the emergence of the Delhi Sultans in our country, okay? The inscriptions and the inscriptions are the archaeological sources, children. You know about it? Yes? The inscriptions, the manuscripts, these all are the archaeological literary sources, isn't it? So the literary sources of during those period, even the architectural monuments or the coins, right? These all were the different sources which show the or give the information about the Delhi Sultans during this period, okay? Right? And here they have also explained. You can see these four pictures, children. Here they have also, the historians have also explained how the manuscripts were being made. Okay, see here. The inscriptions, the coins and the architecture provide a lot of information. Especially the valuable were the histories, that is the Tariq. They were being known as Tariq, right? And these were written in Persian language, as the administrative language during the Delhi Sultanate was Persian. Okay, so these all were being found written in Persian language, right? The coins also had inscription in Persian language. The architectural monuments which were being built during that time, they also had the literature inscribed in Persian language, okay? And here you can see these four pictures, children. Here the paper has been made, then the literature was written on it, then these were being melted in the coin in the form of different coins, that is gold coins, silver coins, or metal coins, right? And then these were being embossed, and these were embossed with an impression. Okay, you have learned about the punch mark coins, children, during that time, right? So this picture shows the impression that this particular manuscript indicates the accounts of the Delhi Sultans during the 12th century to 16th century or 15th century. Okay, so these four pictures indicate the preparing of the paper, writing the text, melting the gold to highlight important words and passages, and preparing and binding of these coins and literature. Is that clear? So this is how the account of the Delhi Sultans is being recognized and found by the archaeological sources in the form of inscriptions, coins, architectural monuments, and all other sources whichever were available during that time, right? The authors of the Twarik, that is the written literature, were learned men, right? The secretaries, the administrators, the poets, and the courtiers in the courts of these sultanates, right? And these were the advisors of the rulers also in the form of the governance, their emphasis laid on the justice which could be maintained in the form of social justice. Okay, that means everybody were to be given their identity, all the citizens were to be maintained in a social order which would give them equal amount of rights. Okay, so altogether these secretaries, administrators, poets, and courtiers, these were the advisors of the rulers as they were in the earlier periods also, or the earlier rulers also, right? And they helped in governance, and their governance mainly was being carried in order of एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन मतलब समझ में आता है ना आपको, किस तरीके से सारी एक्टिविटीज जो थी उस टाइम में की जाती थी उनको किस तरीके से ऑर्गेनाइज किया जाए, उन्हें कैसे परफॉर्म किया जाए, राइट? और इसके लिए एक सर्कल ऑफ जस्टिस को मेंटेन किया गया था, राइट? और ये सर्कल ऑफ जस्टिस 13th सेंचुरी में रिकॉग्नाइज हुआ, राइट? फक्र आई मुदाबिर wrote in this 13th century circle of justice, right? क्या उसने बताया, उन्होंने क्या बताया? A king cannot, वो ये इसमें डिस्क्राइब करते हैं कि किस तरीके से सोल्जर्स, किंग और पूरा गवर्नेंस उनके रीजन में जो भी था वो कैसे एक दूसरे पर डिपेंडेंट था, ठीक है? He explains that a king cannot survive without soldiers. किसी भी सोल्जर के बिना, कितने जो भी सोल्जर्स होते हैं उनके बिना किंग का सर्वाइवल इम्पॉसिबल है. Why? Because the kings have to maintain the army, and because of the sacrifices or the soldiers who are bravely fighting their wars, etc., right, help the kings to conquer the regions. Okay, so the king cannot survive without the soldiers cannot survive without salaries. जब उनको उनके मेहनत का, उनके काम का पैसा उन्हें मिलता है तभी वो सोल्जर्स बनते हैं किसी किंग के लिए. द सैलरीज कम फ्रॉम द रेवेन्यू. अब ये जो सैलरीज मिलती हैं, उनकी मेहनत का पैसा जो सोल्जर्स को मिल रहा है वो कहाँ से आता है? दिस कम्स फ्रॉम द रेवेन्यू कलेक्टेड फ्रॉम द पेजेंट्स. एंड हु आर दीज आर द फार्मर्स. ये फार्मर्स जो हैं रेवेन्यू देते हैं, राइट? और भी छोटे मोटे आर्टिजन्स होते हैं या जितनी भी अलग अलग ऑक्यूपेशंस उस वक्त होती थी, उन सभी जगह से, सभी से कुछ ना कुछ रेवेन्यू मिलता था. और हमने जैसे पढ़ा है कि द फार्मर्स यूज्ड टू गिव द रेवेन्यू इन द फॉर्म ऑफ 1/6 ऑफ देयर प्रोडक्शन, isn't it? Then the traders used to provide different types of tribute or gifts to the king, है ना? Then we have also learned that the different artisans, as much as they produce, they had to give either 1/6 or 1/5 of their produce, right? The artisans, or say for example the carpenters, they used to work for the other three varnas or the system in the country, and thus each and everyone was dependent on their work as well as salaries. Okay, so whatever occupation, whatever work they did, they have to pay the tax. ये revenue हम क्या बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पर, ये tax है, ठीक है? तो tax system हमने 6th क्लास में भी पढ़ा है, अभी भी मैंने आपको पढ़ाया था civics में, लास्ट चैप्टर्स में, राइट? तो जो टैक्स गवर्नमेंट को मिलता था, गवर्नमेंट यहाँ पर कौन थी? ये दिल्ली सुल्तान्स, राइट। तो ये इनकी गवर्नमेंट थी, तो ये गवर्नमेंट का जो टैक्स मिलता था वो कहाँ से मिलता था? पिसान से, और जितने भी अलग अलग तरीके के लोग काम करते थे उनसे, राइट। एंड इन्हीं रेवेन्यू या इन्हीं टैक्सेस से the soldiers would get their salaries. But the peasants can't pay revenue only when they are prosperous and happy, right? They can pay the revenue only when they are happy and prosperous. जब तक कोई भी किसान, कोई भी काम करने वाला ऐसा इंसान जो कि ज्यादा प्रोड्यूस करता है या उसका प्रोडक्शन ज्यादा है, तो जब तक वो ज्यादा नहीं होगा, उसकी जरूरत से ज्यादा नहीं होगा, उसके कंजम्पशन नीड से ज्यादा नहीं होगा, क्या उस पर वो टैक्स दे सकता है? नहीं दे सकता। तो द पर्सन हैज टू बी हैप्पी इनफ, right, when he is working or when he is producing some good, and when his production is more, then only with more sales he can give the revenue. तो उसको prosperous, उसको समृद्ध होना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, और अगर वो खुश है अपने काम से, उसकी कमाई अगर ज्यादा हो रही है, तभी वो हैप्पी और prosperous रह सकता है। And this happens when the king promotes justice and honest governance. और ये सारी चीजें तभी पॉसिबल है जब जो रूलर है वो इक्वल जस्टिस प्रोवाइड कर रहा है सभी लोगों को, सभी सिटीजन्स को जो उसके रूलिंग रेंज के या रूलिंग एरियाज में एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, ओके। एंड दिस सोशल जस्टिस वाज अगेन डिपेंडेंट ऑन द बर्थ राइट एंड जेंडर डिस्टिंक्शन। अब इसको मेंटेन करने के लिए, राइट, ये रूलर्स ने क्या किया? This information is again provided by the different authors of the Tariq who had kept an account of the Delhi Sultans during that time. And they said that this particular part of governance in provision of social justice could be maintained only when the birthright and gender distinctions could be taken into consideration as a social order to maintain the social justice. Social मतलब सिर्फ एक इंसान के लिए नहीं, पूरी सोसाइटी के लिए जो होता है, ठीक है, राइट। सो व्हाट डिड दे से अबाउट दिस? द हिस्टोरियन सेड दैट द ऑथर्स ऑफ तारीख लिव्ड इन द सिटीज, राइट, और सिटी कहाँ थी? दिल्ली एंड द नियर बाई रीजन्स, राइट। एंड बहुत कम लोग इनमें से होते थे जो विलेजेस में रहते थे, राइट। तो उनका काम क्या था? दे ऑफन रोड देयर हिस्टरीज फॉर सुल्तान्स इन द होप ऑफ रिच रिवॉर्ड्स। अगर वो अकाउंट्स मेंटेन करते थे, इनके बारे में कुछ अच्छा लिखते थे, लिटरेचर मेंटेन करते थे, तो उसके अगेंस्ट ये हिस्टोरियंस को क्या मिलता था? रिच रिवॉर्ड्स मिलते थे। किससे? रूलर्स से, राइट। तो इस लालच में वो हमेशा इन हिस्टोरियंस के लिए बहुत अच्छी चीजें लिखा करते थे, राइट। एंड दीज ऑथर्स एडवाइज रूलर्स ऑन द नीड टू प्रिजर्व एन आइडियल सोशल। इन्हीं लोगों ने, इन्हीं हिस्टोरियंस ने, इन्हीं एडवाइजर्स ने क्या किया? सुल्तान्स को या रूलर्स को उस वक्त ये बताया कि अगर किसी भी रीजन में सोशल जस्टिस मेंटेन करना है तो उनका जो सिटीजन्स हैं उनको उनका बर्थ राइट मिलना चाहिए और जेंडर डिस्टिंक्शंस उनमें नहीं होना चाहिए, जो कि हमारी सोसाइटीज में आज भी प्रिवेल करता है, राइट। बट जेंडर डिस्टिंक्शन एज वेल एज बर्थ राइट कुड ओनली बी एबल to maintain the social justice, and social justice can be understood when these ideal of social order can be maintained in the form of birthright and gender distinction. Now what is this birthright, children? birthright वो होता है जो एक इंसान को अपने बर्थ के साथ मिलता है, ठीक है। As I said, the dynasties, when the dynasties prolong for a longer period, है ना, तो ये डायनेस्टी कैसे होती थी? ग्रैंडफादर से ग्रैंड सन तक वो चलती थी, isn't it? That means if the grandfather is a ruler, then his rule after his death or after his retirement can be transformed to the father. Then after father, it was been automatically transformed to the granddaughter or grandson, right? So that was said to be. अब ये क्या हुआ? ये जो ग्रैंड डॉटर है उसका बर्थ राइट या ग्रैंड सन जो है उसका वो बर्थ राइट हो गया कि वो एक रूलर की फैमिली में बॉर्न हुआ है, इसीलिए वो रूलर ही रहेगा, ठीक है। सो द बर्थ राइट प्रिवेल्स, privileges claimed than account of birth. For example, the people believed that the nobles inherited their right to governance or to govern because they were born in certain families. अगर कोई रूलर्स की फैमिली में बॉर्न हुआ है तो वो ऐसा एक नोबेल बन सकता है आगे भी, क्योंकि वो इस नोबल फैमिली में, इस रूलर फैमिली में, किंग फैमिली में बॉर्न हुआ है, और उसकी किंगशिप जो है वो जैसे उसके फादर्स की चलती आई थी वैसे ही आगे उसकी भी किंगशिप चलेगी. ही विल बी बॉर्न एज अ रूलर एंड he will remain as a ruler till his death. Okay, and gender distinction was again a social order which indicates that social and biological differences between the women and men, that means the gender distinction, whether the person is male or female, usually shows the differences in the biological features of the human beings, right? And this also became a part of the society, right? That this particular person, whether it is a male or a female, belong to this particular society, right? And further, it was being held responsible for showing the, you can say, the differences between the male and female, or discrimination between the male and female in the future generations too. Okay. Okay, children, so let us recollect what we have learned today. We have learned about the findings of the Delhi Sultans through the archaeological sources in the form of coins, inscriptions, the book literature, etc. Right? And then we have also learned about how did these Delhi Sultans, with the help of their advisors, maintain the circle of justice. That means how did they justify their rule, okay, in their societies, in their ruling regions. Then we learned about the social order. In order to maintain the social justice in their ruling period, what did they do? They, with the help of the historians and again the advisors, had formulated ideal social order in the form of the birthright and gender distinction in order to maintain justice for the people in their ruling regions. Thank you for today, children.